The Roth IRA, the ultimate tool to grow your wealth tax-free. Peter Thiel, the founder of PayPal, he took this to the next level. He took a $2 investment and turned it into, you guessed it, $5 billion. Not tax deferred, not taxable, completely tax-free. So let's roll back the clock to 1999, where Peter Thiel did something that has never been done before. But before we talk about that story, let me introduce myself. If we haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Luke Turner. I am the co-founder of Moen Private Wealth. We help entrepreneurs make smarter decisions with their money. If you enjoy stories about entrepreneurs and how it can directly affect your life, whether you're a business owner or whether you're just starting out in personal finance, you need to be subscribed to this channel. We're going to be putting out more and more stories just like this one with Peter Thiel. Back to the story. Where were we? 1999. Peter Thiel is just now coming up with the idea for PayPal. And he has this bright idea for financial engineering. How do I get my shares of PayPal into my Roth IRA? Well, the way that he did it is he was able to buy the shares of his company at nearly 1 penny. That's right, 1 penny. So he had a minimal amount of money he actually had to put into his Roth IRA to buy those shares of PayPal from the company. And by doing that, he was able to shield all of his shares of PayPal from taxes. Those shares of PayPal grew to be worth billions over the course of just a couple years when PayPal IPO'd in 2002. And the story doesn't stop there, it gets even better. He was an early investor in Facebook, where he did the exact same thing, where he bought those shares of Facebook with his Roth IRA. And then guess what? He did it again with Palantir when he started it. So you can see this is something that he's been doing over and over and over again. And my encouragement to you when you hear this story is that everyone on this channel is not going to be creating the next billion-dollar company. Maybe you are, you should be thinking about this. But for those of you that aren't Peter Thiel, that aren't going to create a billion-dollar company, how does this apply to you? That's exactly what we're going to talk about in the second half of this video. Let's dive in. Okay, so what? Peter Thiel turned a $2 investment into $5 billion. How does that affect me? Well, I'm glad you asked. That is exactly what we're going to be covering in the second half of this video, where one, we're going to talk about what is a Roth IRA, so you really understand the ins and outs of it. And number two is the application for business owners. If you're on an accelerated growth curve, what are things that you need to be thinking about today to plan for those taxes in the future? Number one, what is a Roth IRA? Well, a Roth IRA is an individual retirement account. That's what IRA stands for, where you put money in, you do not get a tax deduction, but that money is going to grow tax-free. So let me give you an example. In 2025, the maximum amount that you can put into a Roth IRA is $7,000. Put $7,000 into it, you're not getting any tax benefit today, but that $7,000 could grow to be worth $14,000, could grow to be worth $50,000. In the growth between your $7,000 and call it your $50,000, you're not gonna have there be any tax consequences when you sell those investments. Whereas if you took that same $7,000 and you put it into a brokerage account and it grew from $7,000 to be worth $50,000, you're gonna have to pay taxes on that $43,000 delta. So as we're thinking about Roth IRAs, what should you do with this information? Well, it should be one of the first accounts that you fund when you are looking to invest money. Now, you're probably thinking, why should I fund a retirement account first? I'm really worried about liquidity. Can I access that money? That's another great superpower for the Roth IRA. The Roth IRA allows you to pull your basis out. Basis is just a fancy word for the amount of money that you put into the Roth IRA at any time. So you're really not taking on a lot of risk by taking money and putting into your Roth IRA. So that's exactly what a Roth IRA is, how it works. And as you're thinking about your financial planning, I would highly recommend incorporating that Roth IRA component. Because even if you're not trying to invest in the next billion-dollar startup with it, it can still be a tool to leverage and potentially save tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes in the future. So that's exactly what a Roth IRA is. Now, let's talk about our last point here, which is our application for business owners. When we think about business owners, the biggest leverage that they have, that Peter Thiel had as well, is that they planned in advance. If you're a business owner, this is the one thing that you have to do and replicate that Peter Thiel did. He didn't know if PayPal was going to turn into the next billion-dollar company. He sure thought it was, but he didn't know for certain. But it was a completely asymmetric bet. He put $2,000 into a Roth IRA, and if it would have gone to zero, he loses his $2,000. Would have lost his $2,000 anyway. And for business owners, you need to be thinking about these things in advance, specifically with the equity in your business. It's likely going to be the biggest asset on your balance sheet. And if I had to guess, if you're still watching this video, you probably don't think about it on a day-to-day basis. What it's worth, how you're gonna sell it, what you're gonna do with it if you die. These are all really important things to be thinking about. And from a planning perspective, the only way to get ahead is to make sure that you're planning in advance. If you're still with me, what you've learned about is 1, the story from Peter Thiel, 2, exactly how a Roth IRA works. Now, this third element is specifically for business owners. What should you be doing with this information? You thought the story was interesting, but you're thinking in your head, my company's not gonna turn into $1 billion enterprise. Maybe it is, but chances are it's probably not. And if it's not, there's still something that you need to take action on today. The way that Peter Thiel was able to take advantage of the tax code is that he planned in advance. The business owners that Moment works with that get the best outcomes are the ones that plan in advance. And the number one asset that you need to plan for is your business. If I looked at your balance sheet, chances are the biggest asset that you have is going to be your business. If I asked you this question, how much time have you spent deciding what you're gonna do with that asset? 90+% of you don't think about it on a regular basis, and that's normal. You're in the weeds of your business. My encouragement to you today is that you need to be thinking about how you're gonna handle your business. If you do not think about that asset in advance, you are going to leave money on the table and you're going to leave the IRS a tip when you sell that business. If you don't wanna leave the IRS a tip, make sure that you're planning in advance. The great news is that Moment can help you with that. If you want to talk more about exit planning, how you can be leveraging your business to live your ideal day every single day, please reach out in the comments below. There's a link down there to schedule a meeting with me. I'm happy to talk through it with you. So if you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel below. We're going to be putting out more and more content just like this. We talk about a financial story. We talk about the application specifically for business owners like you.